So, like, prepare to have your ears tortured. It's time from the front row with Johnathan T. Rokford. Whatevs.
I don't know who decided that was a good ass name, but fuck. I mean, have you ever seen the play? I think in Greek it means ill-starred, which means like destined for disappointment. Wasn't she a hoe in that freaking play? Shakespeare was a fucking scandalous guy. I don't know. Yeah, probably wasn't a good idea to listen to. Hey, how you doing, folks? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford. Welcome to another edition of From the Front Row. And before we begin, special shout out to the White Marsh Warriors 11 Under team, our favorite 11 Under team in Maryland. Getting ready for another season, and we are so excited because they're going to rip the competition apart, folks. And if you want to help them achieve that goal, they are doing a fundraiser April 30th. If you want to find out how you can help the team on their travels, contact Jayla Masters and make a donation to help them out. Yeah, them guys they're some badasses, bro. I'm telling you, they're some badasses. I would not mess with those guys. Speaking of not messing with somebody, Money was in action defending his game changer title as we went on a 2-week smorgasbord of matches, starting with the Goobly Goonster, who Money defeated handily in a walk-off. Next, he took on Shepard Bain and also defeated him. Now, he did have to take a break so he could defend his U.S. title, but we'll get to that. Let's get to the matches, folks. We had the Dream Warrior taking on the badass Eddie Vendetti in a match of two newcomers who actually happened to be faction members. Go figure. I wonder what booking was thought when they did that. I mean, you very rarely see two faction members fight each other. But badass Eddie Vendetti was the winner. But after the match, they also shook hands and stuff because, after all, they're going to have to work together. Now, our next match featured the Brass Hole versus the Horror Show Holmvik. And the Brass Hole, without any kind of trouble, was able to defeat the Horror Show. It was like he wasn't even there. Now, the next match featured the Brass Hole's faction brother Casper 2779 taking on South Bronx Savage. And he had pretty much the same. He dominated that match. Oh my God. South Bronx, you was not representing. What happened? But Casper 2779 picked up the win. Yeah, you know, with the new rankings, guys are starting to get their footing and gonna be moving up a little bit. Now, next match featured Kenny Lee versus Luscious Lucius, who actually showed up to fight as Luscious Lucius took out Kenny Lee. Yeah, he likes to, and then pranced around the ring like he was some diva. I mean, he is a diva, but that's regardless. Now, after that, we had Crazy Canuck taking on James Altraz in a match that was a little bit more competitive, but in the end, James Altraz was able to pick up the win over Crazy Canuck. Now, our next match saw the Darkstalker, our Intercontinental Champion, who's got a tough battle ahead of him, facing the Goobly Goonster, who was looking for redemption. And he found it as he pulled a martel on the Darkstalker, who was coincidentally distracted by Martel the Carpenter, who was sitting at the announce table after receiving a stern warning from Johnny Rocco not to sit in his seats. Now the distraction caused the Darkstalker to lose, and the Goobly Goonster was able to pick up the win over the IC champ. Ooh, he was not happy. He vowed to get revenge on Martel the Carpenter. Now, our next match saw Captain Chaos take on Shepard, Bane, and Captain Chaos. Although he's not going to be here that much, when he is here, he does pick up the wins. Maybe he should disappear more often. Now, in our next match, we had the Master Sean Puff taking on the Emperor 2K Anomaly, and the match started off at an even pace. But as always, the Emperor found a way to lose a match, as the Master Sean Puff picked up the win in dominating fashion, folks. It wasn't even close. You know, I actually at one point thought it was going to be like the Falcons versus the Patriots. I thought he was going to come back, but no, he didn't. Now, the artist formerly known as the Queen Starling J, now known as Desdemona, was taking on David the Beast Smith, and he seemed very distracted. Just couldn't get out the gates, and Desdemona was able to defeat him. It's like he had something else on his mind, possibly the loss of his tag team titles, and trying to figure out a way to get a rematch. Yeah, maybe she's gonna beg for one. Just go beg. It seems to work around here in WPA. You just beg for a match and boom, schedule. The bookers are always watching. They find it funny, actually. Now, our next match featured Money, MF, and Mike taking on Switchblade. And Money, MF, and Mike picked up the win because, well, Switchblade just wasn't there. So the winner by a countout and no-show, Money, MF, and Mike. Now our next match featured Texas Hate You, Mr. Money in the Bank versus Martel the Carpenter. And folks, here's why you don't mess with Sinister. During the match, the Darkstalker appeared at the top of the ramp, thus distracting Martel briefly. He was able to kind of overcome a couple of moves from Texas, but Texas did pick up the win. Now, after the match, Johnny Rocco jumped out of his seat and over the wall and went under the ring and pulled out, yes, folks, the kendo sticks, and hopped in the ring and proceeded to beat down Martel the Carpenter viciously with the kendo sticks. Oh my God, it was blood all over the place. I mean, he beat him like he didn't get home before the lights cut off. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, Johnny, for some reason, had a trench coat on. And he reached in his trench coat and pulled out a bottle of what we found out was butter and shoved it up Martel's ass and squeezed.
Say what?
I guess you could say Martel's going to be the butt of the jokes. I probably, he probably would have rather it had been something else. He's going to be squirting for a while. But hey, at least Texas Hate You won, right? Now in action, before he takes a break to go on vacation, the Big J Bowski took on Lycan Lumbers, who vowed to send him off with an L on his name. But it did not happen, folks, as the Big J Bowski picked up a win over Lycan Lumbers, finally getting a win. Oh my God, he's been losing the time lately. Whew. Now, our next match featured First Lady Alexa Leslie taking on Bobby Blaze. Not just any first lady, the first ever women's international champion, Alexa Leslie, taking on Bobby Blaze. And Bobby Blaze was able to defeat her. Now, had this been one of the other ladies, it might have been very significant, but since it was Bobby Blaze, it was just any kind of match. But nevertheless, it was still a loss on the First Lady's record. You know, kind of coincidental that some of the guys that from the Disorder or whatever those guys are called are losing right after the Master Sean Puff brags about him. I think he set him up for failure. Now the Essential Jayla Masters, who is the toughest SOB to beat one-on-one, took on Mac Blakely. And, well, it started off close, but in the end, the Essential Jayla Masters showed why he is the toughest SOB here in WPA and picked up the win over Mac Blakely. In our last singles competition, we had Big Mel taking on Chrysalis. And folks, a rarity here in WPA, Big Mel suffered a loss against Chrysalis. You know, Chrysalis is pretty tough. Former triple threat champion. He's not too happy about losing that title. And he took it out on Big Mel and picked up the win in a very competitive and close match that saw him roll him up, which is the worst way to lose a match, getting rolled up. Now we had some number one contender matches, and first one was the triple threat number one contender match. In match one, we had Robert Isaiah Salea taking on the Super Champion King versus the Ronin, Shona Campbell, or as we like to call it, the match of too many names. And the Ronin struck swiftly and viciously and picked up the win when she pinned the Super Champion King. Yeah, he never got the gate. He got the gate slow on that one. Yeah. We knew Robert. We knew Salea wasn't going to win. Now, match two saw the Wraith taking on Luna and Lady Assassin. And Lady Assassin was able to pick up the win and pinning the Wraith. So, next week, 2 out of the 3 competitors. We have the Ronin Shona Campbell versus Lady Assassin versus who would be the champion at the end of the night for the triple threat. But first, the television title number one contender match was in hand with an opportunity to face the television champion, and it was Needles Kane versus the Prince of Crime Delirious, who, after suffering a vicious loss to Jermaine Walker, looked to gain an opportunity for another title, and he would be denied by Needles Kane, as Needle Kane picked up the win and became number one contender for the TV title, folks. Now, the triple threat champion Kwani Fist was in action against the Messiah and Johnny Rocco in his third title defense, folks. It's getting crunch time for him. And he survived a tough battle, folks. It was a close match. None of them could get the upper hand. And Johnny Rocco, who was thrown into the match, was the one that was pinned, folks. But he didn't really care too much. He's like, I'll get another opportunity. So, Kwani Fist now has won 3 matches with the triple threat title. He needs one more, folks. He needs one more win, and he will get a title opportunity at the IC champ. I would hate to be the IC champ right now. In the U.S. title, Money, in his first title defense, took on the Supreme Knight and successfully defended his title. Now, after the match, Money called out the Big J Bowski, and they started a battle that is still raging folks. I mean, they were fighting harder than a team trying to beat the White Marsh Warriors. Although we know that will never happen. Nobody beats the White Marsh Warriors. Come on. But the match is still going on, folks. Man, 2 title defenses in one night for Money. He truly is back. In our main event, we had Red Death taking on Katz and Corey. And Katz and Corey gave Red Death everything he had. But Red Death was able to squeak out the win and retain his TV champ, folks. This guy has been, in our estimation, the most dominant TV champion in WPA, representing the disorder. And he's not satisfied, folks. He's trying to climb that mountain to get to Jermaine Walker. And that's it, folks. Another edition of From the Front Row in the books, folks. Close another chapter. Stay tuned. We have Philip coming up as he will give you his most impressive pick of the night. And as always, folks, don't drink and drive. Tell your loved ones you love them. Pick up that phone and call that friend that might need to hear your voice. And good luck to you, White Marsh Warriors 11 under team. We'll be rooting for you. I'm Johnathan T. Rokford, folks. I'm out. Yeah, like I said, when you give someone gives you a name, you probably might want to look up and do a little research on it before you apply it, because I would have never used that name. I mean, come on. Hello, WPA. Once again, it is I, Philip Alexander Johnathan here, allowing you the privilege to hear my voice invade your home as I give you my pick of the week. Now, this week was very difficult as there were many performers who were very impressive in their wins, most in dominating fashion. As I went through each match, I struggled to actually find someone that impressed me more than the others. But nevertheless, I am a professional, and I know what I'm doing. This week's pick, Lady Assassin. She has always shown grace and victory, strength against her opponents, intelligence in outwitting her opponents. And this week was no different, as she survived 2 other competitors to gain a spot in the Triple Threat Championship match. dare I say she will end Corny Fist's streak and prevent him from getting a title shot at the Intercontinental Championship. She's destined for greatness. Her ring prowess sometimes is unmatched by her competitors, which is why it's no surprise to me that she won her match. Kudos to you, Lady Assassin. Very, very good job indeed. And that will be all for the day. You know, I like to keep these short and sweet, as Johnathan talks an abhorrently amount of time. So to you, I wish you a good weekend. And to those who celebrate, I wish you a happy Easter. What's that, Jeffrey? Oh. And good luck on your season, White Marsh Warriors. Not that you need my blessing. From what I hear, you're very capable of winning. But nevertheless, good luck on the field. To everyone else, I wish you a good day. I said good day.